So we'll start with the first session. I will brief about yesterday's class. So what we have studied, we are studying load and store instructions. So I have covered how we can use the load and store instructions for transferring single registers. Okay, and what are the modes in the when we are using with single registers. So we have three modes. So one is pre-index with write back. So where we will update the base register, and pre-index. So we'll calculate the new address, but we will not update the base address. Whereas post-index, so we will update the base address before means after jumping to a specific label. So sorry, after using that particular address. Okay, so these are the three modes we have talked about when we are talking about single register transfer. In the last class, I was showing about the multiple register transfer. So I hope you understood these instructions. Okay, so what are the four modes we have in the multiple register? Anyone? So one is increment after. Okay, what do you mean by this increment after? So before incrementing the base address, use the base address and then increment the base address. That's what we mean by increment after. And increment before. So before accessing the address, first increment the base address and then use the address. That's what we mean by increment before. Similarly, decrement after. So first use the address and then decrement, and decrement before. So first decrement the base address and then use the address. That's what we have studied. And there are four modes when we are talking about multiple transfer register. So when we are decrementing after, so it means that we are first uh, I have shown you with one example, and this is one example I have shown with respect to increment after, right? So first we are copying the content and then we are incrementing the updating the base register. Okay, so how we'll get to know whether the base register is updated or not? By using this exclamatory symbol. Okay, yeah, so I was talking about yesterday this program. So what it indicates, so in this, so what we are doing, so we are storing some values in R1, R2 and R3, and we are storing the base address in the register R0, and then we are using this store MIB. So store instruction, store multiple instructions, increment before. So this is how uh, we need to use the store multiple instruction, and the condition is increment before. So before using this base address, we are incrementing the base value, and then we are storing the uh, this contents of register R1, R2 and R3 into this memory, and then we are loading back. So for in order to load, we are using decrement after. So if we use increment before, store increment before, and load decrement after, it means that whatever the content we are putting onto the memory, we are storing back into this register. So whenever we are doing decrement after, as if we are, so what it means that we are accessing the registers. So whatever the memory we are pointing to, so that particular memory we are putting into the registers. So the order in which registers are filled is from last to first. So whenever there is a statement here, you can see here, the decrement version of decrement after and decrement before of the load store multiple instruction decrement the start address. So the R0 is our start address, and then store to ascending memory location. So when we say it is a ascending memory location, it means that we are accessing the registers from the last to first. So if I do LDMDA R0 exclamatory comma R1 to R3, so it means that whatever the address it is pointing at present, so it is pointing at what is the updated? Yeah, this R0 is the updated address. So this register content, okay, so will be placed into the R3. So what is the content of in this particular address? It is 007. So 07007 we are moving to last register, that is R3. So that's why we are having R3 equal to 7. So similarly R2 08 and R1 09. So whenever we are doing decrementing the register value, so it means that we are accessing the register from last to first. So we are putting the data in from the ascending memory location. Okay, so I think I've shown with an example. Yeah, so I have used the same example, so you can see that what we are doing here. No errors, debug. So I'm moving the values. This is the address. This address I'm moving to register R0. Okay, and I'm moving the values 9872, R1, R2, R3. Yeah. So now what I'm doing? So these contents I'm storing into a memory address. So which memory address I'm doing? I'm using R0. So R0 is pointing to this particular address. So exclamatory symbol, it means that uh, I'm updating the base register value. So now what is the condition I'm using? Increment before. So IB indicates increment before. So before using this address, I will increment the address. So how much should I add here? How much should I add to this particular address?
4.
Yeah, plus 4. So plus 4. So plus 4, and for this plus 4. So it will be R0 will be, so plus 4 it will be 04, again plus 4 it will be 08, and plus 4 again it will be C, right? So 4400 C. So that will be my new address. You can check here. Yeah. So after executing this statement, so the base register is updated to this particular address, and I'm storing the register value R1, R2, 3, R3 in this particular location. So now I'm changing the content of R1, R2, and R3. You can see now earlier R1 was 9, now it is 1. So 2, 3. So now I want to store whatever the data I have put into the memory, the same data into the registers. So for that, so if I use here STMIB, then in order to get the same data, I should use LDMDA, that is decrement after. So what is the register content of the register address? So address is C, okay, 400C. So this value, whatever it is pointing, so it is decrement after. Okay, so in this particular address, whatever is there, I'm putting that into R3. So what is the what is present in this particular address? It is present as 07 is present. So then I'm decrementing by 4. Again, I'm placing that value into register R2, and again decrementing and placing the value into register R1. Okay, so I will get 987. I have to get, right? So I will execute the statement. Yes. Yeah. See, you can see that the address is decremented and it has become whatever the original address. So this is the address we have moved, right? And you can see that the content of register R1, R2, and R7 is same as whatever we moved. Okay. So this is how we need to use multiple. We need to use load and store instructions for transferring multiple registers. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So why we need to use this multiple register? So if you want to move a block of memory to the a block of data to the memory, or if you want to move block of data from memory to registers, we can use this multiple transfer instructions. Okay. Yeah. So one advantage of using this multiple transfer is whenever we are dealing with stack operations. So what do you mean by stack? Say suppose if I'm calling a subroutine from one function to the another function, then whatever the previous data is there, I need to store that. Okay. So in order to store that, if I use only single register, then it will take a lot of time. So in order to reduce that time, we may use transfer multiple registers, multiple data through register on memory. So whenever we are doing stack operations, so uh, these instructions will come handy, right? So let's see how we can do the stack operation, and what are the instructions that are there. So in order to carry out stack operations, so the load and store operations provide us the solution. So one is, so what are the operations are involved in stack? You have studied stack, no? I hope you have studied in data structures, right? You have studied, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you want to get a data from the stack, what is the method we need to follow? So we need to follow the pop operation. So pop means getting the top element of a stack, right? So that is pop. So in order to do this pop operation, which instruction we have? We have load instruction. So whenever we execute load instruction, so it is similar to the pop operation on stack. Okay. So removing data from a stack and uses load multiple instruction. So whatever the instruction that we have used for the load, so those instructions we can use for this pop operation. For push operation, so what do you mean by push operation? So putting a data into the stack. So stack is a memory, right? So that's what we are putting a data. So it means that we are using store multiple instructions. Okay. So placing data onto the stack uses store multiple instructions. So before going to the example, so first you need to understand a stack. So what is a stack? The stack is a memory location, right? So this stack can grow in an ascending manner or a descending manner. So if we are using a memory where if we whenever we push the data, the address will increase. Okay. So the memory will go from in the ascending order. So there are some type of memory in which the uh, the memory is in descending order. Okay. There are two types of memory we can have. So one, we can have ascending memory or descending memory. So if I push a data, so the next memory location will be higher the previous address. That is what we mean by ascending. And descending means, so if I push the data, then I will be having address lower than that of the previous address. Okay. So that's what we mean by ascending memory and descending memory of a stack. So ascending stack goes towards higher memory address, and descending stacks grow towards lower memory address. So before doing any operations on this stack, so first you need to understand, so which type of addressing I'm using, whether it is ascending memory or a descending memory. Okay. So if we are using ascending memory, you need to use A, and if we are using a descending memory, you should use D. I will show you with an example. Okay. And there are two more uh, uh, points you need to remember. One is if you are working with full stack, and if you are working with empty stack. So this you need to check. So what do you mean by full stack? I'll tell with an example. So full stack operation means, so whenever you are pushing a data, okay, I'm talking about, there are two types of stack operation. So one is full stack operation and another one is empty stack operation. So what is this full stack operation means? Okay, what do you mean by full stack operation means? Whenever you are pushing the data, so your stack pointer will hold to the last address where you have pushed the data. Okay, it is not pointing to the empty location. It will be pointing to the last data that you have pushed into the stack. So you can see here the SP is pointing to 0x80014. So this is the address where you have pushed the last item. So the stack pointer will be pointing to that. So whenever you are talking about empty stack, you can see that the stack pointer will be pointing to the empty location in the stack. So once you push an item, okay, push an item, so the stack will be pointing to the next empty location in the stack. Okay, so that is the difference between these two types. That is, if you are using full stack, so it will be pointing to the last memory address location, okay, where actually you have pushed the data, and empty stack, it will be pointing to the next empty location. So that's what we mean by full stack and empty stack. Any doubt here? Any doubt till what do you mean by push, pop, or ascending memory or descending memory, or full stack or empty stack? Okay. So now let's see how we can use this addressing modes that are there with the multiple transfer registers to implement stack operations. So what do you mean by stack operations? So we can do either pop operation or push operation. So pop means we are getting data from the memory, and push means we are pushing the data into the memory. Okay, so this addressing mode called as FA. So F stands for full stack. Okay, so full stack, I told what you mean by full stack. Okay, so F stands for that, yeah, full stack, and A stands for the memory is ascending. Okay, the memory is ascending. So with respect to that, we can use, if this is the memory we have, that is ascending memory, and it is we are using full stack, then for pop operation you need to use LDMFA. Okay, LDMFA. So this LDMFA is same instruction as if we are executing LDMDA. So what do you mean by LDMDA? Diman, LDMDA instruction. Yeah, what is this instruction LDMDA? So in the previous
Decrement
example,
after.
yeah. So this is a load multiple registers decrement after. So if you are using full stack ascending, then in order to pop an element from the stack, we should use LDMFA. So this LDMFA is nothing but LDMDA. Okay, and for push operation we need to use STMFA, which is similar to that of STMIB. So here we are doing decrement after, here we are doing increment before. Okay, so and if you are, and this is the another mode, if we are using full stack and the memory is descending, then we should use LDMFD. So D stands for descending. Okay, and the which is equal to, this instruction is equal to LDM IA, that is increment after. So for the pop operation, you should push operation, you should use STMDB. And for, so F stands for full stack, and E stands for empty stack. So what, when I say empty stack, it means that stack pointer will be pointing to the next empty location. Okay, So we have two types. So one is empty ascending and empty descending, and these are the instructions we need to use for push and pop. So let's see with an example. Yeah. Okay. So here we have examples. You can see here. So what I'm having here. So which register corresponds to the stack pointer? So R13 corresponds to the stack pointer. So R15 is program counter. R14 is for link register, right? It will hold the link address, and R13 which holds the stack pointer. Okay. So what we are doing? So we are doing a push operation. So what type of stack it is? So what type of stack it is? It is full
Full
descending.
stack.
Yeah, full descending stack. So if we are doing for full descending, so this is the full descending. So we need to use these instructions, that is LDMFD for pop, and for push we need to use STMFD. So this is what the instruction we are using. So this is for push, and the next instruction is okay. There is a, we are not doing the pop operation, only push operation we are doing. Okay. So this is this instruction is, this example is to make you understand what do you mean by full stack. Okay, full stack and empty stack. So you can see here. So R1 I'm having 2, R4 I'm having 3, and the current stack pointer is having this particular address. I think, I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the address. The current stack pointer is pointing to this particular address. So now I'm executing this particular instruction, that is as store multiple full descending. This is the instruction. So I'm updating the stack pointer after moving this contents of R1 and R4 to the memory. So what will be my new address? So STMFD. So it is nothing but STMFD is nothing but STMDB. So decrement before. Okay. So now I'm decrementing the, so before using this particular register means address, I should decrement. So now we have 80014. Since it is a descending, so the next address will be 4 less than that of the this value. That's what we mean by descending memory. If it is ascending, then it will be +4. Okay. So the next address will be +4, but we are using descending here. So the next address will be -4. That is 80010. So in this 80010, we are pushing the data which is currently carried by R1. So what is the value of R1? It is 002. So we are moving this particular correct now R002. We are moving R1 content to the memory pointed by SP. So what is the content of SP? SP is 80014. So 14 we are doing, and we are decrementing the, what is STMFD? STMFD decrement before, correct? STMDB. So decrement before. Yeah. So whenever we are doing a decrement operation, so it means that we are accessing the register from last. Okay. That's what I have shown you this statement here. Okay. So whenever we are doing a decrement operation, it means that we are accessing the in the register list in a reverse order. So which will be the first value? So the value which will be stored in the 10 is 003. So which is the content of R4? Fine. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Yeah. So why we are putting this R4 is we are doing decrement after. So whenever we are decrementing operation, so it means that we are accessing the register content from the reverse order. So the first register we are accessing is R4. So the R4 content is 003. So if this 003 is placed in the memory location 80010. Okay. So again, decrement the value by 4. So if you decrement the by 4, 80010, if you decrement by 4, it will be 800C. So in this memory location, we are putting the register content of R1 register. So that's why we have 002. So now, so after this execution of this particular instruction, so we have this status. So R1 will be having 02, R4 will be having 03, and the stack pointer, that is R13, will be pointing to this memory location. Okay. So this is with respect to full stack. And this is the example to show you the empty stack. Okay. So the same instruction, what I'm using ED. So ED stands for empty descending. Okay. So you can see that. So here the stack pointer will be pointing to the next memory location, which is empty. So now we are using STM ED. So STM ED, which is equal to what? Decrement after. Okay. First use the address and then decrement after. So this is the address, it is pointing 80010. Okay. So sorry, here it is the address 80010. So use this address and then decrement. So in this particular address, what value I need to store? I need to store the content of R4 because we are talking about decrement. So the access of register will be in reverse order. So the R4 content will be placed in this particular memory location. So R4 content is 03 and the memory location will be 80010. So you can see that this is the stack. Okay. And the next address. So next address. So we are putting the value of R1 in this particular memory location. So then here you can see that the next address pointing by the stack pointer will be next empty location. That is 8008. So this is the stack pointer pointing. So this is the difference between full stack and empty stack. Any doubt? Any doubt? So let me execute one demo. Yeah. So what I'm doing, I'm moving the contents of R4, R5, R6, and R7. So 4 contents register. I'm moving to the stack. Okay. So I'm pushing the data and again I'm popping. So if I do pop, then the same value should be there in this register, that is R0 to R3. Okay. So let's see. So R4 has 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I'm pushing into the memory. So these values are stored in this stack pointer. Okay. So yeah, so I have pushed the data to the stack. So pushing. So now I'm popping the data from the memory and I'm storing into the register R0 to R3. So whenever I'm popping, so it is the same data has to be stored in the R0 to R3. So you can see that the data will be updated here. Yeah. So the same data you can see here, R0, R1, R2, R3. So this is how you can work with the stack operation. Fine. So let's, any doubt? Any doubt so far?
No, sir.
So we'll execute the next instruction. So next instruction is a swap instruction. So what is this swap instruction does? So it will copy the content of one register to the memory location, and the memory location content will be copied to the another register. So that's what we mean by swap instruction. So this swap instruction generally is used for checking the semaphore values. Okay. I think you are not studied. I think operating system you are studying now, right? So you will come across the semaphore mutex. Okay. Synchronization problems. So for synchronization operations, you can use this swap instruction. Okay. So that is the application of this swap instruction. So let's see how actually the swap works. So swap is nothing but copying the content of the register to memory location and from memory location to the register. So this is the syntax. So SWP followed by two register and one memory location. Okay. So if I execute, so this is SWP. SWP is for full word. And if I use SWPB, it means that I'm swapping only the byte of information. Okay. So yes, you can see in this diagram. Okay, I don't have. I hope it's visible. PPT is visible. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
So you
sir.
can, yeah. So S swap. So how to use this swap instruction? So swap, okay, followed by two registers R0, R1, comma, memory location. So what is the memory location here? Rn. So Rn contains the address of a memory location, right? So what is the address here? So address is, in this particular example, Rn is R2. So this is the address. So if I execute this swap instruction, what happens? So the content of memory location is assigned to temp variable. Okay, temp variable, and whatever the register contents of RM. So what is the register content of in this particular example RM? So RM is nothing but here in this example it is R1. Okay, so the content of R1 is placed in the memory location. Okay, content of R1 will be stored in the memory location, and memory location value will be stored in the RD register. So RD, so here RD is R0. Okay, RD is R0 in this example. So you can see that after executing of this particular instruction, so the memory location, so the data will be stored in the memory location, whatever the data that we have in the second register, that is RM. So in this example it is R1. So the content of R1 is 0x4142. So we can see that the value is up, and the content of R0 is nothing but the content of memory. So the content of memory was 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So you can see that the register R0 contain that value. So this is how the swap instruction works. So I will show you one demo. Yeah. So what I'm doing, I'm moving the content R1 with 0. Yeah. So what I have to do, So the content of this memory location has to move to R1, and the content of R2 should be moved to this particular memory location. So that is what the swap operation does. So swap R2 with location R3. Okay. So the content of R2 will be moved to the content of memory location, and memory location content will be moved to register R1. So let's see. So I'm moving R0 with 00, okay, and R4 with 07, and R2 with 09, and I am moving some address to the register R3. So this is the address I'm moving. So in this particular address pointed by R3, I am putting the value of R4. So what is the value of R4? It is 7. So in this particular address, I am moving the value 7. Yeah. So I have moved the value. Now I am doing swap operation. So if I do swap operation, what should be the content of R1? Anyone? What should be the content of R1? Answer, please answer.
9.
7.
It should be,
7.
yes, it
9.
should be. You can see here, it is not 9, it is 7. So why it's 7? You can see here. So the content of memory will be moved to the register R1. Okay. So whatever the value we have in the memory, this will be moved to R1, and content of R2 will be moved to the memory location. That's what this was.
Got it, sir.
Okay. So you can see here. So the content of memory is moved to the RD register. So RD is, in this particular example, is the first register, correct? So in this particular example, it is R0. So the content of memory is moved to R0, and content of R1 will be moved to memory location. So the memory location will be pointing, having the value RM. So RM is the second register. So similarly here, so the content of R2 will be moved to the memory, okay, and content of memory will be moved to register R1. So content of memory, so in this particular memory, I have moved the value of R4. So R4 value is 07. So the, if I execute this instruction, I should have the content of R1 should be 07. So you can see, so now it is 00. So if I execute the statement, yeah, R1 is, yeah, the content of R1 is 07. Fine. And what should be the content of memory? What is the value stored in this particular memory? So before this instruction, it is 09. Sorry, in this memory, what we have, it is 07. So what should be the content of this memory now?
9.
9, sir.
Yes, it should be 9. So I will check. So in order to check what is the there in this particular memory, I'm using load instruction. So whatever R3 is pointing, so that memory location value I am moving to R4. So now R4 should contain 9. Yeah, you can see that it is 9. So this is how this swap instruction work. Okay. So the application of stack is whenever you are working with semaphores. That is one of the best example where you can use the swap instruction. So this is about the swap instruction. So next instruction is software interrupt exception. So if you want to access some of the operating system services, okay, then you need to use this SWI instruction. Okay, so which provides a mechanism for applications to call operating system services. Okay, services or routines. So say suppose if you want to open a file, okay, if you want to open a file or if you want to write something into the file, some operations you want to do. So you need to access the services supported by the operating system. So whatever the operating system routines we have, so for each routine we have a SWI number. So for each routine that is provided by the operating system, we have a number. So we can call that particular number by using SWI instruction. So it is a software interrupt instruction in order to get services from the operating system. So the syntax is SWI followed by that particular number. So if I specify that particular number, then I will go and execute that particular subroutine. Okay, so this routine is supported by the operating system. So once I execute this statement, so these are all the things happens. Okay, what are these? So first thing is the address will be stored. The return address has to be stored because I'm going to execute the another routine. So I have to come back. So for that particular purpose, I need to store the return address. So I'm storing in the LR SVC. So SVC stands for what? Which mode? It is supervisor mode. So if at all we want to access the operating system services, I will shift from the user mode to the service the supervisor mode. So in the supervisor mode only I can access the routines provided by the operating system. So that's the reason I'm moving the return address into the LR SVC. So this is a bank register, right? This is a bank register. Then I'm storing the current program status register in this SPSR. Okay, and then I'm moving the program counter to that specific subroutine or routine provided by the operating system, and then I'm going to enable the mask. So mask IRQ interrupt. So stands for I bit will stands for masking the interrupts. Okay, so these are the things it will the system will do whenever we execute this particular software instruction. Okay, so one of the example I will execute one swap instruction, SWI instruction. So the SWI. So how we need to call number? So number you should know. This is the number I'm using for this particular operation. So this is one example. So this 11 indicates I need to halt the execution. Okay, so I need to halt the execution. So the execution will stop here. So if I use this SWI 11, so this is one routine provided by the operating system. So instead of writing stop B stop, so I can write this SWI ampersand 11. So you can see that the execution will stop there. Okay. Yeah. So now I have executed SWI. Yeah. So you can see that it will not go further. So it will stop here. So this is one example for using software interrupt instruction. Okay, so what is the syntax? So you need to use the number SWI number. So this SWI number will be given by operating system. So it is already defined. So for which routine, what number I need to use. So based on that, you can use this particular software interrupt instruction. Okay. Next instruction is program status register instruction. So we have seen CPSR. So we have seen different field. So using how we can update this field using instructions. So that's what we use program status register instructions. So this I will cover in the next class. Okay. So we have program status instruction register, then some coprocessor instructions, and some loading the constant. So these instructions are left out. So I will cover this in the next class. So any doubts so far?
No, sir.
So please practice some of the examples. Okay, and you will understand it in depth. So if you want, I will share this whatever the code that I have used for explaining. So I will share this ASM files. Okay? So you can execute the same, and you can analyze, or you can execute your own. And if you have any errors, you can show me, or if you have any doubt, you can discuss. So I did not get the information about the first IA. Okay, that if I get any information, I will share with you, whether it is online or offline. Okay. So still I did not get. If I get, I will share with you. If you have any questions apart from this subject, if you have any queries, please ask me. Since I'm your class teacher, I will handle it. Any issues you have? Okay, answer your attendance. 67,
Present, sir.
68, 68. Absent. 69,
Yes, sir.
70, 70, 71, 70 is absent.
So 71 present.
It's okay. This is 70. 71 is present. 72,
Yes, sir.
73,
Present, sir.
74,
Yes, sir.
75,
Present, sir.
76,
Present, sir.
77,
Present, sir.
78, absent.
So 68, I couldn't unmute myself then.
Can tell later. 70, 79,
Yes, sir.
80,
Present.
81,
Present, sir.
82,
Yes, sir.
83, 83 absent. 84,
Present, sir.
85,
Present, sir.
86,
Yes, sir.
87, sorry, 88,
Present, sir.
89,
Yes, sir.
90, absent. 91,
Present, sir.
92, 93,
Present, sir. 92.
93,
Sir, 90 present.
92 present. 93, Mayur. 93 absent. 24, Meghana. 94 absent. 95, absent. 96,
Present, sir.
97,
Present, sir.
98,
Present, sir.
99, 100,
Present, sir.
101, Absent. 102,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4, 5,
Present, sir.
6,
Present, sir.
7,
Present, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9,
Present, sir.
10,
Present, sir.
11,
Present, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14,
Present, sir.
15.
Yesterday also I was present.
Yesterday, this was the status he did not answer. I don't know what. 15,
Present, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Present, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19,
Present, sir.
120, 120 absent, 121,
Present, sir.
22,
Present, sir.
23, 23 absent, 124,
Present, sir.
125, 125 absent, 126,
Present, sir.
128,
Yes, sir.
29,
Present, sir.
30,
Present, sir.
31,
Present, sir.
32,
Yes, sir.
33,
Yes, sir.
34, sorry, 028,
Yes, sir.
080,
Present, sir.
139,
Yes, sir.
199,
Present, sir.
408,
Present, sir.
409, 409 absent, 410,
Present, sir.
411,
Present, sir.
412, 412 absent, 413,
Present, sir.
414,
Present, sir.
415.
Present, sir.
Okay, so these are the absentees.
Sir, 101.
Sir, 093.
Once again.
101.
Sir, 90.
Sir, 093, sir.
093,
70.
then
095, sir.
095, then
101, sir.
101,
Sir, 90.
101. Yeah, one second. 90, 90 is present.
Sir, 90.
Sir, 095 did you correct, sir?
Okay. 095,
70.
70. Who else?
Sir, 411 last class I was present, sir.
Yeah, for every class I will ask like this, no? If you are present, you should have told.
Manoj was absent, sir. That's why.
Manoj was absent.
120 present, ma'am.
Ma'am?
sir.
Who is
120 present, ma'am.
Ma'am? Who is this? Sri, what's up?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Are you
sir.
listening to class?
Yes, sir.
What's my name?
Sir, Sridhar Sansi, sir. Sorry, sir.
Huh?
Sir, Dr. Sridhar Sansi, sir.
You know, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually, sir.
Okay, any other numbers?
Sir, 90.
90, I don't know. Yeah, 90. Madhu sir.
Yes,
Who
sir.
else? Yeah, you are present. So absentees are like 78, 83, 99, 104, 123, 125, 409, and 412. Okay, thanks for joining. See you in the next class.